You're listening to Truly Unruly with Marcus and Jessica Trufant.
Kel, are you into astrology?
A little bit. Kind of got it tattooed on me, so sort of.
Oh, okay. So I first downloaded this app called CoStar, and you put in your birth date and all that kind of stuff, and it shows you your moons and your rising and all that kind of stuff. And so I've been really into like reading my, what is a horoscope?
And when she says really into it, she's been really into it.
Well, excuse me, my rising and everything absolutely told me that this is who I am. I'm very into everything. Once I figure something out, I have to keep digging and searching and learning and doing all kinds. Anyways, so I'm like taking it and I'm like reading all my traits, and I just so happen to, I didn't know that everybody, and I don't know who's into astrology out here, and whatever, because I know some people are like, oh God, that's the devil. But actually all this shit is aligned, really. So I have an 8th house, which a lot of people do not have 8th houses. And so when I started Googling about my 8th house, it told me how I was going to die. Didn't say when, but it said how. And it literally shook me to my core, right? Because everything that I have read is fucking spot on about who I am. Like even stuff that Marcus doesn't even, I don't even really talk to Marcus about. It was telling me. It was fucking trippy. Anyways, it's like, are you in my search engine? But how would you even know then? Okay. And those who aren't into astronomy, it is based off of the exact minute, day, the position of the sun, all the planets around it. So I was shook, and it took me a couple of days. And then I was like, okay, this is clearly this is what it's going to be. And, everything is not gospel, but I believe that shit.
I'm very happy that it took you 40 years to figure out that we're all connected. I know
like that.
No, I'm just saying, like, everyone has their awakening, so I like that you're having your aha moment, and that's good. But I really want to know, how are you going to die? You can't say that and not tell us.
Well, it's not in Kel. Everything is connected, okay? Land, sea, animals, humans, whatever. Yeah. But when you involve the universe and the placement of the planets and all that kind of stuff, and the way it was able to read me, I'm like, oh shit, there has to be some validity to this, or they're just, I don't know, really good at guessing who people are. I have no idea.
We all come from the universe. All we are is just specks of space dust that all come from the same oneness at the end of the day. We all come from Mother Earth, which is a breeding planet, which everything dies, recycles back into the earth, and regrows again. So yes. I get it. But I just want to know, how are you going to die?
Do I share how I'm going
to die? You love to share, and I believe you've already shared it.
Well, no, people, what it said is I'm going to die suddenly, unexpected, but peaceful.
Wow.
If you read that about yourself, you would die. And so, and then it kind of gave hints as to what to kind of avoid and all this kind of stuff. And they said that people with 8th houses, or my 8th house is Uranus, and that is like, I guess, the planet that like shook up the whole original astrology structure of planets or something like that. I can't remember. And so usually people with the 8th house with Uranus, they die in strange ways. So I don't know. It's one of them was like, you could be struck by lightning. They're telling me to watch my driving because I am a fucking crazy woman on the road, like all kinds of things. And whether you're into it or not, believe it or not, think I'm out of my mind or not, there is something about reading that kind of information that really kind of opens you up, right? And it kind of, it released a little bit of fear. It did. I'm like, it is what it is. I did not read whether it's going to happen, because sometimes they can say you're going to live a short life, a long life. Didn't read all that, but I understand, I accept it, and I am going to work really hard, because that's another thing. 8th house, there's a lot of karma.
How do you feel about now the outlook of your life? Do you now want to experiment with things and see things and have more experiences now and understand that, like, wow, like here, because here's the thing. It could, it says that, yeah, you may die unexpectedly, blase, whatever. But we're all guaranteed to die. That's part of the deal when you came in, is that you're going to return back to the essence. So yes. I think more than anything, regardless of how it's going to go down, you are going to die one day.
Well, I know that, right?
Right. But the fact that the fact that there are, I don't know, other pieces of the puzzle that are coming into place that you're seeing that affects the trajectory of how you are supposed to live your life, like, yeah, you're going to be a little shook. You know, like, if anyone found out tomorrow that they had a week to live, they would completely within that week probably change their beliefs and what they thought and their whole outlook on life. That's the reason why you don't know when you die.
Maybe not. Well, that's the thing. Stuck in their ways. In order for it to really supposedly happen that way, everything has to be aligned. Like when you were born, everything is aligned in a certain order. And so for you to die at whenever and however, everything has to be completely aligned. And I was talking about karma, and when you have many lives, and because I have an 8th house, I am carrying and I'm carrying and I'm living out the karma from my past lives. So this is karma. Like, Marcus, he doesn't have an 8th house. Shocking. So he's settled. He's settled, and I'm not. So another thing that it was saying was, you can try to right the wrongs of your past self by being a good person and doing good things for others and putting positive energy and aura out there, just like the Bible states. So that's why I'm like, everything is connected. This is not, I don't think it's a fluke that even Marcus, a lot of the stuff that I read him, it's dead on me. And it's kind of scary, actually. I'm like, oh shit, I thought I could hide that part of myself, but I can't. So it was just really interesting, and it was eye-opening, and it does make me want to do better and be better. Yeah, because I don't want to come back again and be a fucking rat, or come back again and be a mass murderer or something like that. So just very interesting. And Kel, if you have an 8th house, or sometimes it says you will die a violent death.
I've never really had a fear of death because of my understanding of it, because of so much of it I've dealt with in my life, that like it's such of this like guarantee that when you die, it's going to be the most familiar feeling that you've ever had in your entire existence. Because then when you get back to where you came from, you're going to be like, oh shit, I'm back here again. When it comes to death, I'm just like, all right, like.
For some people.
Yes and no.
For some people.
I would say for the average person, death is a pretty scary thing. Just especially for Americans, right? And how we approach.
We don't die.
How we don't talk about it.
Just humans in general, though, true, yeah. I think just
Americans,
humans in
general. A lot of other cultures deal with death differently. So
but it made me just think about everything. Like when somebody just drops dead for no reason. Like just walking down. I know my grandmother's mom dropped dead in the middle of the street. Heart attack.
Well, I think humans too have this. We've talked about this before. Is just this attachment to your body, because that's all you know. And you're not understanding that your body's just a vessel for you to move about in this space. Because in this realm, you've never seen yourself from the outside looking in, only the inside looking out. So you don't know what it's like to actually physically step outside of your actual physical body and turn and look at yourself. So we come so attached to our bodies, just not knowing that your body is essentially a car. To exist in this vibration and to exist in this frequency that we're at. Like, if we were to turn all the lights off, guys, and make it completely pitch black, would any of this actually really exist? The only reason why you're able to see it and it does exist is because it's a reflection of light. It's the reflection of light that's bouncing off of your fucking inside of your eyes that make you see what it is that you see. Who says this is all even real? That this might just be one big ancient simulation, you know? And that's why you look at things like the metaverse scares people. That's why AI scares people, because they're like, wow, they can take your physical consciousness, which is your soul, your chi, whatever you want to call it, your energy that powers this body, and you can download that into a hard drive. You can be able to put that into a robot. So that's the thing, is like, it's like, what is this actually? What do you think this really is? And so people are so focused of thinking about death, not understanding that you don't actually die. You just transition on to the next realm, to the next level of consciousness. So like, I just think people should just focus on the moment and on the now. That's my belief. Stated. That's my outlook on that.
Everything should be questioned.
Everything should be questioned. It's fucking weird to not question shit that you it's weird to not question things and wholly believe something, just one thing. I think that's questionable in itself. And I do not believe this is 100% again Bible, but just based off of what I have read about myself, which is literally true to me, has been like, oh shit, this is a little bit different. This is different than what I was taught. I don't know. I don't want to get into a battle about religion, but the Bible never stirred anything in my soul like that.
Jess, I think people have to remember that when it comes to things like the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, things like that, those are written with lessons, right?
It's an instruction on how to live.
I believe in the interconnection of religions. They all, at the end of the day, all the religions and prophets that have came and went, it all goes back to the same thing of
absolutely
love, and love. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's loving yourself, loving one another, and loving the planet that you're on.
Right, and which we don't.
Good things come with that.
And that nobody's perfect too. That's
right.
A big part of it, and we tend to lose that.
Right. So like I will, you know, like you, Jess, you know, both you and I both been raised Catholic. Hell, you and I went to the same damn church at one point. And you know, I won't ever, you know, try to tell my like 60-some-year-old mother that is a devout Catholic, well, Mom, you're wrong. You're this, and that. The only reason why you read the Bible is because your grandparents read the Bible and they were whatever, and then their parents and their parents, and the slave master gave their ancestors Bibles and told them this is how they should be civilized, and they showed them a picture of white Jesus, so it put white people closer to God. All that shit.
You got to be Christians.
I can go in. That's the thing, though. I can go in on all that, but at the end of the day, like, that's someone's moral structure. That's their morals and standards and what their purpose of existence, right? So you just have to respect that, right? So my grandmother used to always tell me, and that's one thing that's cool about my grandma. My grandma was a devout Catholic, but she goes, I don't care who you pray to. She goes, you can go and pray to that tree outside and say that tree is your savior. She goes, as long as you believe in something bigger than yourself, you're good. Because if you don't believe in anything bigger than yourself, you're just fucking selfish.
Right.
You know?
Right. I've always believed in something bigger than myself, and I still do, but I think I was a little, I don't know. I've always believed in something bigger than myself, but I think I just wasn't
exposed to enough other information. Is
something.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm still trying to figure this out. Right. This is like very new, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really, this is pretty cool to me. And like I said, it has made me.
Yes.
What?
Nah. Kill called my name. So I was like, what?
Should I shut up now?
Bro. Jess is going to become one of those crystal girls. You're going to have all these crystals along your fucking windowsill and shit.
You know what, Kel? That's part of my personality. I have a fascination with death. Like all of these things. I was reading it to Marcus, and that's who I am.
I know where she's at,
and
Kel.
they said, you're a psychologist.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to go to school for.
And not that it's
very
a bad
intuitive
thing, but she gets into these things and she throws her whole being into this. And it's a good thing, right? Because I'm learning on the fly too. I'm pretty much the opposite, right? I'm more just kind of, what is it? Not so much just go with the flow.
He don't have an 8th house. So that just means he has lived his best life the entire time he's been here.
Actively searching for answers. I'm more of a 1 + 1 is 2, and that's it. I don't need nothing else, right? But Jess is more like, okay,
the 1 + 1. There's got to be some different little
could be 2,
nuances in between there, right?
If different things happen, it could be 3.5 or whatever, right?
Kel, it even said that my rising, my whatever. It said as far as finances and wealth, you are likely, or you probably gained wealth by way of marrying a wealthy man.
Damn.
What?
Called you out.
What?
A lot of stuff was pretty trippy. It was pretty heavy.
It was pretty trippy. Even like seriously.
And my thing is, though, I understand, and this is maybe why I haven't given it as much a time as you have. I've kind of been on this thing like, okay, it's a marketing thing.
I'm forcing him.
And they have to cross all these bridges and check all these boxes. So people that line up on these birthdays and these times, etc., they have to kind of cover the whole map, right? And say all this stuff. So eventually something is going to be about you, but the way these things have been lining up, it is kind of trippy. I can say that myself, that it is kind of like,
thank you.
There is some things that are spot on to be like, okay, yeah, Jess,
I'm like, oh my God.
That's you.
Oh my God.
That is you.
It's beyond just like a normal like horoscope reading. I'm like, this is reading my innermost fears and everything. And I'm like, oh shit. I don't know. I think it's great to know that shit. I do. I think it's great to know because you're walking around this world thinking you're the shit. Let you get read about yourself and who you are. And it makes you really take a deep look inside. I'm still looking.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Oh, go ahead. Play devil's advocate.
Jess, can I play devil's advocate?
Yes.
So with this, and what I don't like is like doing the thing that you did and you read about your death and what's going to happen. And if you let that alter your daily life, or you go in the tank, or you do whatever, that's why like I was kind of pissed off actually that you went that deep. I didn't like it.
It was an accident.
I know.
You think I was trying to discover that? Absolutely not.
It's hard enough to try to be positive in this life, right? This world is crazy. It's a lot of stuff going on. So to kind of seek out and go into situations that potentially could bring darkness to your daily walk, I'm not sure if I agree with that. And not that I'm running from it, or not that I want to be shielded from things that are to come. But,
again, you're at peace.
But you have to, I believe you got to find a way to try to get back to the positive. And you're doing that, but
it was a couple of days where I was like, ugh. And then I'm like,
I know, but I'm not with that. I'm not with the negativity. I feel like, okay, I don't
think it's negative. because you're gonna die.
Everybody dies.
Everybody gonna die.
Of course. But
so I don't think it's negative.
You don't have people up here telling you exactly how you're gonna die and how it's gonna go down.
They didn't tell me exactly how I was going to die.
Though. So what I'm saying is,
you guys, when I die,
we just got to be
remember
careful.
This conversation.
Exactly. So we just got to be careful. Yeah, it's okay to search and look for the things that are out there. That's okay. I'm all for that. But we just got to be careful on how we approach it.
You're right. I'm not dying that way. Like, I'm not going to get said to electrocute. Like, it gave several options, and I'm like, well, I ain't dying that way. But also, like I said, it gives people kind of things to avoid, right? Or just to be aware of. And
so you can't go outside now when there's a storm, is what you're saying, because you're aware now. So if the lightning is thanging outside,
if it's thanging and it is my thing, I guess that's it.
If you gotta go,
I guess that's it at this point. I don't even know what to say about that. I don't even have a rebuttal, but I will slow down in my driving because I do drive.
How do you guys feel to know that? Okay, because you both are 40, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how does it feel to know that? And I mean this in the most non-disrespectful way. No, real shit. Like
that half our life is over?
Yeah.
Half,
and you maybe got like 30 to 35 like really, really good years left. Cause I always want to have that conversation with like my mom. I remember having that conversation like with my grandparents, like when they've watched like all their friends just like start just dying off, and like what's happening with my mom. A lot of her friends now are like, people are just starting to die and shit, and people are dying younger and things like that. And I just wonder, I'm like, yo, like, and like, my stepdad died, and it's like, do people like, when you get to that age, do you start thinking about that shit of like, fuck, like I'm on a countdown.
Yeah, you do. And it makes you, reconsider what you value and what you want out of life, the rest of your life. And yeah, it does. And I used to have a terrible fear of death, which it told me that. Used to have a terrible fear of death until I took a class in college. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
About death and dying. And I actually had to, I think I had like 8 people online because it was during COVID at this time. And I had to talk to people about death and dying and different rituals from different cultures and all that kind of stuff. And it really changed the way I thought about death, because like Marcus said, Americans, we think we can cheat death. There's so many advancements in technology. They can put you on life support. They can give you chemo. They can do all of these things, but we are mortal. And
final destination is coming.
We are mortal, and it's going to come. Everybody's body breaks down. You think, oh God, if I eat healthy, okay, you get 10 more years than somebody else. Oh, whoop-de-fucking do, right? But everybody's body breaks down.
I just want my dick to keep working.
That is fair.
Well, I don't know about that, but I know the natural state of your body, it's like a machine. And parts,
including your dick,
wear
right?
and tear, they break down until your heart stops, right? So it really changed. It really made me accept that, okay, I'm going to die. My husband's going to die. My kids are going to die.
I might not, though. I kind of got that, man.
I think you might not die. I think you've been here this whole time. And he's been here in
special thing.
He's been Marcus Trufants since
a glass half full guy, like to the fullest. So my thing is though, with
you can get all the Botox that you want.
I don't do Botox.
You gonna age,
but thinking about being over 40, it just lets you know that a lot of stuff is out of your control, right? At least for me.
That's real shit.
So you kind of gotta just not stress yourself out and just kind of be in the moment, live, enjoy, and try to be positive, try to be a good person, and just try to do the best you can. And that's what it comes down to. And that's good enough. A lot of people put these pressures on themselves. Okay, I'm not this. I want to be this. I want to get to this point. I want to get to this level. But does it matters. But if you look at the big picture, does it really matter? Just do the best you can. Be the best you. Be consistent and really work at it. But don't beat yourself up, right?
Right. You just want to be a good human being. I know there's all these rules. You can't cuss. You shouldn't have sex before you're married. That's a big source for me. Shouldn't have sex before you're married. Don't do this. Don't do that. All these like fucking nuances, all these small things that really don't fucking matter in the grand scheme of things. Are you a good person? Do you take care of those around you? Do you help people? Do you love people? Everybody has a little bit of, bias and to all the judgment and all that kind of stuff. But are you a good human being? That is all that I want for my kids. Fuck all the other things. Oh God, you're gonna go to hell because you cuss. Fuck you. No, I'm not. So,
Jesus Christ, Jessica.
Well, I'm just saying, you had sex before you're married. God is displeased. Fuck you. Jess, no, he isn't.
Look, I always tell people, because like, I know, right? People get like so deep into it. And I tell people, I'm like, man, and maybe because I'm just super zen and, peace, love, and flowers. I'm a good person. And I can say up to this point in my life, these 36 years that I've had a lot of fucking fun. Yeah. So like,
as you should.
And that's it. At what cost is it to be in a constant pursuit of being perfect and all of these things? It's like, you can't really be yourself. First of all, you can't be yourself. And second of all, you think you're happy, but you truly cannot be free when you're living under all of these constraints. And I didn't say do whatever the fuck you want, because we shouldn't be doing whatever the fuck we want. That can get you in trouble, and that can bad things that can get you in trouble.
So, but everyone have unprotected sex.
We definitely need
unprotected sex.
We need boundaries.
We need boundaries, but everybody has such immense pressure, and it really harbors, it manifests guilt.
Sex and drugs. Sorry.
Kel, yes. Do sex, do drugs. Have sex and do drugs.
Do sex and do the drugs.
Do sex, do the drugs.
I don't know why that's
the
so
book
funny.
Of Jessica, verse 1.
Do sex, do the drugs, because really it doesn't matter. Like, those are
totally
small
cutting that part
things.
Out. No, please don't.
I like do sex and do drugs. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Do the sex and do the drugs.
Do them all. Do all of the
drugs. Do them all.
Well, not all of the drugs.
But things in moderation. And I think that's what these things are trying to tell us. You're talking about your 8th house. You're talking about the Bible. People lived in the Bible. People did things, but we don't want to go over the edge to where we can't control it, because a lot of people can't control themselves, right? And that's when people get into trouble. You want to live, you want to enjoy, but you don't want to overindulge. It's my personal view, and that's not for everybody, but
that's true.
Right.
That's just me, right?
And I'm not even referring to like overindulging.
I'm talking about in anything.
To not being able to be your true self.
You want to be happy.
Right?
Yeah.
And all of that kind of stuff, because you feel that if you are not this certain person or living this totally righteous life, which nobody is. So if you live a fully righteous life, please come message me, because I'd like to meet you. What?
No, that's
and that's fair. It's hard to have to continually have that in the back of your head. It is. Growing up, it was hard continually having you're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell in the back of your head. It is. It is hard. So conditioning.
Err on the side of caution too is what that is as well.
Right. But I'm not a bad person. I don't do bad things.
You're a terrible person.
You do terrible I'm on here cussing and talking
drugs
about
and sex
and astrology. So I'm probably the devil at this point to some people. But I don't give a fuck at this point. I don't. Like you said, I'm not only 40, but that's one thing that my astrology chart said is I'm continually reinventing myself over and over and over. I was telling Marcus, I'm a different person now than I was 10 years ago. Like just completely. I'm always changing.
Growth.
Well, aside from growth,
growth,
that's
what it is though. You're evolving. You're becoming better.
I am evolving.
It's evolution.
Right.
I wouldn't say changing. I feel like changing is like almost deliberate. Like you're like, I need to like.
No,
it's a natural evolution. I agree with that. It's information.
It's information. Yeah, information. The more information I gain, the more I change. And so, things that have happened to me.
Your foundation, I don't believe is changing, but you're gaining. I know, yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. I want to make sure people understand.
Yeah, no, not my foundation.
That you get this new information and it doesn't change you, but you have open up your eyes and mind to different things in a good way.
Right. It just changes how I view things.
Perspective. I don't know.
And how I move. And it's like it's a death, but it's not like an actual death. It's like the death of that person when she was 25. That's not you anymore.
It is a death.
That now you're this person, then that person. Now you're shedding.
All it is is you're just
layers.
shedding your skin.
That's what they say. And not to take it back to the sports. I know you take it all the time in sports. But when they say that you transition from sports, that it's like a death, and you have to shed all of that and kind of move on to another space, right?
Right. And so, I think
I get it.
And it is also the last thing. It has helped me realize, and this is getting really personal, that I have to shed some of the things from my past that I have been holding on to all of these years. I have to. I can't be who I am truly meant to be until I let those things go. Don't know how to do that.
But you work at it.
But I don't know. Really, you're like, okay, you're going to let go
Try by error.
Honestly, Jess, your brain is everyone's biggest hurdle, because the thing is that things that happened in the past, they don't even exist anymore.
You're right.
You see what I'm saying? So what it is
you got to take that bag of. So that's why.
Exactly.
It's tough,
you got to take that bag of bricks and you got to sit that bag of bricks down, because the only reason it exists is because you think about it. That's why it comes back to life. Let that shit die. You know what I'm saying? Like, let it die. It's in the past. The past don't exist no more. You live in the present moment right now. Your past don't exist no more, and your future's not even here yet. You live in the now.
Right.
So like that's how I like had to shake a lot of shit in my life of regrets and stupid things that I've done. It's like, yo, why am I carrying this?
Right.
That was like, I'm in a totally different place in life. Why does this need to come along with me? It's the same way of cutting out toxic people. I've cut out so many people that were in my life from the very beginning that I just don't fuck with no more, because they are toxic. I've realized I've grown so much and they haven't grown, that it's like I can't have those toxic traits, those toxic personalities in my mix of my realm of positivity.
I understand that, but my situation is not really one of my deepest traumas. It's not unique, because I'm sure many people have experienced stuff, but you know, I almost died when I was 21, and I had a child die. And so that, I never dealt with it. I never fully processed it, anything. And that is always there. And it's easy to say, let it go, but you can't really. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I have to work through, And so,
not easy, untreated trauma. And we talk about
trauma.
This all the time. That,
it is,
No,
definitely.
that's real.
Trauma that's untreated real. Is
right. And I said that was the death of one of me after that happened. There was a transition for me. And so I have to figure out how to let something like that, I have to let that go. And so I'm like, how do you do that? How do you do that? But I'm going to figure it out because I know I have to, because I think it has been weighing on me along with other shit for 20 years. So I think it's time.
Professionals and those that you trust. For those that are listening, right? I know a lot of people deal with a lot of stuff. So I believe those that really love you, to talk to professionals, especially in the Black community. It's okay to talk to a professional. There's nothing wrong with that. Kale, I know you talked about that on a regular basis, but we need to advocate for our mental health. It has to be dealt with eventually, right? Because it's going to come to a head one way or another, and you're going to have to deal with it. So you
and I haven't, and
should do it on your own terms, though, right?
And per my horoscope, per astrology, which is absolutely right. I don't like to address it. Even I've talked to therapists, but there's something that stops me. I don't want to be vulnerable, and I don't want to because to bring that up is to just pretty much fall apart and
be
come
exposed.
Back together. Right.
Yeah.
And so
but that's it,
I'm
Jess.
Gonna have
is
to
that
do it.
Freedom though.
That's freedom though. Like you
exactly.
It comes out, and it's like when you go through an ayahuasca ceremony or something where you pretty much are dying, you are reborn, and you go through all these traumatic things again, and you pretty much are broken down to the core, and you're rebuilt again. I had to do that to myself. I've broken myself down plenty of times, all the way to the root core of every dark skeleton in my closet, and it's very uncomfortable. But then after it's out, and you're like, oh shit. But like you just have to go through that. You have to go through that rebirth. You haven't had a chance to spiritually die and be reborn. It's one hell of an experience. But everyone has to go through that, because that's how you evolve, and that's how you are able to move on to the higher frequency, the next frequency. I have some homework for you guys, though, because we're going hella long, and we could talk about this for hours. You guys should go on Netflix and watch Surviving Death. It is about people that have had near-death experiences, and it's really, really uplifting, and it will give you a totally different outlook and insight on death. And it's really, really good.
Yes. And just please don't take, this is pretty personal for me, this entire episode. Do not take that and get on Instagram and talk shit, because I will come for you.
No, Jess, you don't even got to say all that.
Well,
you don't even got to do all that.
I will still drag somebody.
You're in your space, or you're in your peace, so just let it be.
I know,
what it
inner
is.
peace. I'll still drag somebody though. Yeah.
Right, but at the end of the day, your experience is your experience. If somebody else doesn't understand that, they don't understand it, so fuck them. Yep. It's the whole thing about caring about what people think and the judging thing. Remember, we always talk about the judging thing.
Everybody
Who gives a shit about that? Because at the end of the day, you live your life, nobody else does, right? And if people that are listening or watching don't give a fuck about your feelings, who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, those aren't people that care about you. The people that care about you listen, understand, and know that this is your experience, and they respect that. And that's why they come and they listen and they watch the podcast. Life is too short to sit here and be bitter about what other people are talking about on a podcast. Turn it off if you don't like it, because it's touching a nerve, or it's making you feel some type of way, because there's clearly something probably inside of them that they haven't dealt with, that they need to deal with, that they're afraid to face. So it is what it is. So you don't got to give you don't have to explain yourself. Don't ever do that. Like, you just mansplained. Don't ever do that shit. Don't fucking mansplain.
Well, you know what?
Live your fucking truth.
I think I'm talking to myself as well, because I'm still like,
let it fly.
I still have all of what I have been conditioned. It's still bad. I have to let that go too.
And you're shedding that though, slowly but surely. So just take your time. It's no rush. You're good.
Well,
thanks,
this
guys.
episode got hella fucking deep because like this was not what I planned on talking about today.
I was wondering.
I was
right?
going to talk about some intimacy shit, but it got real, and yeah, I like it. I was like, okay, we could talk about some horoscopes and death.
That is funny.
And all that shit. You know what though? You needed to do that, Jess.
Yes.
You needed to do that.
Put it out.
You needed
there.
to do that. You needed to put it out there, and that's good.
Okay, anyways, it's getting too weird. It's like, bitch, Simon says what? Okay. Anyways.
Well, Truly Unruly with Marcus and Jessica Trufant. My name is Kel. Shit got deep today. You can follow these guys on Instagram, Jessica_Trufant, Marcus_Trufant on IG. But of course, listen to us on your favorite podcasting app. Like, review, subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. All that good shit, and catch us on Converge on Sundays. Is there anything else I've missed? I don't think I did. I think I got it all.
You got it, brother.
All right, guys. Peace, love, and enlightenment.
There we go. And enlightenment.